Christ Ministries, and I am your host, Pastor Michael M. Matthew. And I want to welcome you as I'm just getting in here, trying to get ready, trying to get everything situated for tonight's lesson. Sorry, a little bit late here. Just trying to get everything situated. It was okay. Indeed. Okay. I wanted to welcome you again to the God in Jesus Christ Ministries. I am your host, Pastor Michael M. Matthew, and we'll be in the book of Exodus tonight. We'll be in the book of Exodus as we go. So I'm trying to log into everything. I just got in from my evening practice. We just got in from the evening practice this evening. And we're trying to log in on everything that we have here. We're trying to log in on everything. So going forward, we like to say, I like to give the acknowledgement to my overseer, Apostle Ella J. Alexander of Victorious Living Faith Ministries. I want to give thanks to her as we just give me a second here, trying to get into everything I'm supposed to be logged into. We're trying to make sure we're logged into everything here. I'm trying to see something here because we're our I'm always on this small screen, but when I look at things, it's not that screen. Get rid of that. Okay. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. Okay, here's what I want. Oh Lord. This is not getting anywhere. Where is it? Okay, that's not it. That's not it. There it is. And I don't know what's going on here, but we'll see what happens. We're trying to make sure we're logged in to everything. I just don't want to just go right away into everything. Okay, we're started here. Facebook. Let me lower this down. Yeah, we're started here. Go on Facebook. Lower this down. There we go. Okay, great. A little bit. I'm sorry being so behind. We're being so behind. Okay, so I see we started here. Let me get my big screen here on. So we're going to be in the book of Exodus. We're going to be talking about the 10 Commandments tonight. We'll be talking on the 10 Commandments, part 5. So we'll be in part 5 of the 10 Commandments. And as I'm looking at some Then he said we'll be in part 5. Let me make sure this is the right one I'm looking at. Yes, part 5. So we'll be in part 5 of the 10 Commandments. We're gonna. Let me. I'm trying to just make sure I got everything situated for y'all. I just don't know why my. Oh, here we are. This is the screen I want. Oh man. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna have to go with that screen right now. Okay. So we're gonna just look at that screen right there. Okay. We're gonna be in the book of Exodus going forward. Things is really acting funny for me right now. I don't know why. We're going to be in the book of Exodus. If you are signed on to God and Jesus Christ Ministries on church online, just make sure that you log in. Oh, wait a minute. Give me a second here. Oh no. Oh yes, it's there. There you go. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I thought I had lost people here. Oh no, wait a minute. That's the correct one. Why are you not logged in? Why am I not logged in? Okay. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna go ahead forward. Some of my systems is giving me a cross up here. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Oh, man. Sometimes. Okay. Okay. No, we're going back to this. That's what we want. Oh my God. You know what? Oh wait, there we go. Mm-mm-mm. I'm jammed up here right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna have to go without what I have right now. No problems. All right. Yeah. Okay, let me answer this question right now. Oh boy, now people wanna. Oh man. Now it seems like everybody I come online and everybody wants to contact me online while I'm online. Well, everybody wants to contact me, and now at the last minute, everybody wants to reach out to me at this very last minute. Give me just a second, please. Just give me a second. I'm gonna have to go. All right, we're just gonna go. I'm just gonna go ahead and just go with the class tonight because everything is a little hectic right now for me. Welcome to the God in Jesus Christ Ministries. Once again, I'm going to say that once again to you. We're gonna give me a second there. Okay. Now I can't move. Okay. Give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to get the. Oh man, this is really becoming a headache for me. Okay, so it's like I roll in, I come in here, and now nothing wants to work right. I don't want the. Oh, it ain't even there. I don't even see it now. I don't even. Okay. Somehow we didn't put it in. I don't think we put it in. I thought I did. I thought I put in the lower thirds for us what we were going to be reading on and what we were going to be talking on, but it's not there. And I apologize for that. So tonight we're going to be in chapter 5. We're going to be in verse 20, and verse 12. I mean, chapter 12, chapter 20, verse 12, and we're going to be in the 10 Commandments. So before we even go any further, let me now let me pray us in. Heavenly Father, as we come together tonight to read your word, teach your word, may it resonate with each and everybody's heart, within their minds and souls, and in their understanding. Grant each and every person their understanding of what we read tonight. Touch each person who has lost someone or is in someone is feeling sick. Heal them, give them the strength, and the endurance to overcome each and everything that is going on, or whatever sickness they are. Touch them and heal. And I say this in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay, so we're in the 10 Commandments, as we said, as I said before. And we remember in chapter 19, we saw God come down to, God called Moses up to he called Moses up to the mountain. And Moses stayed up to the mountain 40 days. 40 days he was up at the mountain. He was up there for 40 days. He was up at the mountain for 40 days. And he was up at the mountain for 40 days. And he was up at the mountain. I'm sorry, I'm reading something on my information, and it's driving me a little. Some things I can't understand what's going on here. Okay, so he has he's up on the mountain. He's been up there for 40 days. Now God tells him he wants to come down and he speaks to the people, and he lets the people know. He lets Moses know what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. So now God is giving Moses the directions on what to do. Okay, that's I didn't see that coming. Okay, so he wants them to know what they're going to do. He wants them to know when this is going to happen. So he gives him the direction. He gives Moses the directions on what to do with the as well for the Israelites. So he goes down. Moses goes down to the thing, and God tells Moses to give him a perimeter of Moses so that the people don't come up to him, because if they come up to him, he will then have to they will wind up being killed, because um, God is so his glory is so much that they will they will they will be destroyed. So Moses lets him know that he has to so Moses lets him know that he has that they are in the I can't even find, I'm trying to find something here. So he lets him know, Moses. Moses lets him know that he is for so many reasons. I really get frustrated with this. So he lets Moses know. So we see that in verse 1 through 3, God is now telling the people in the first when chapter part 1, he tells the people he is the Lord their God, and he lets them know he is the Lord. I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other God before me. Then we see in chapter 2, he's telling them they shall have no graven images or idols of him or anything that's in heaven. Okay, that's in part 2. Now we're looking in at part 3. Part 3, he is the creator, so we're not worshiping any other God. You're not supposed to worship any other God. So also now we're looking at chapter 3, verse 3. I mean, part 3. God is now he kind of 7. I was wrong with that. Um, that was the wrong piece I put there. 7. Let me see if I can pull it up here. 7. Let me pull it from the book, because we wrote the wrong information for 7. In 7, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. So it was the Lord's name in vain we're not supposed to use, meaning you're not supposed to swear. You're not this, you're not using his name. Well, I swear I swear I swear by Almighty God that I'll do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. And he's saying this is not what you're supposed to do. And this is what this is what God is telling them that they are not supposed to do. Don't do any sweariness or anything like that. Now we see in 4 and verse 4, we see part 4, we see he talks about the Sabbath day. Now the Sabbath day, that's a day that everybody kind of like argues about most of the time. And you work 6 days, you're off the 7th day. We talked about it. I think people have talked about it. It's you work Sunday, you work Monday Sunday through Friday. Friday evening, you don't do no work. You you don't do no type of work. You don't do no type of work. You rest, you worship God, and That's what you're supposed to do. And on Sunday you can go back to work. Now I know in the uh, Eastern Orthodox in Ethiopia, and from what I looked at and what I read over and researched, Ethiopian Ethiopian Christians, they uh, recognize both days. They recognize Saturday and Sunday. They keep both days sacred. They keep the Sabbath on Saturday, and they keep the Sunday. The Sunday, they consider that the Lord's day, which we know Jesus is our Lord and Savior. So they keep the Sabbath. Saturday is the day Sunday is the day he rose. Saturday is the day that God rested after he completed his great works. So this is what we had from that, the Sabbath. So part 4 was the Sabbath. Now we're going to go into part 5 of the 10 Commandments. Part 5 of the 10 Commandments. And as I'm going to read from the 10 Commandments, I'm going to read from the book of, I'm going to read the part of the 10 Commandments and what we're doing. But I'm going to start, and this is going to be from verse 8. I'm actually going to, verse 12. Verse 12. So I'm going to start with 8, and we're going to read all the way down to 14. I'm going to add 14 in it, but we're only talking about verse 12. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. For the 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work. You or your son, your daughter, your male servant, your male slave, your female slave, or your cattle, or your residents who stay with you. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and everything that is in it, that is in them. He rests on the 7th day. For that reason, the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Now, here's verse 12. This is the verse we're talking about. Honor your mother, honor your father and mother, so that your days may be prolonged on the land which the Lord your God gave you. And then 13 is you shall not murder. 14, you shall not commit adultery. Okay, so we're going to drop it right there after the committed adultery, and we're going to go with the topic of honor thy mother and father. Now, as we see this, we're going to reflect on what the importance of honoring your mother and father. What is their importance? Hey, Apostle Ella J. Alexander just entered into, as we say, entered into the building. She's online, and thank you for coming in. So we're going to look at this Exodus. I'm going to have to say because it's not on the prompt there. I thought it would be on there. We're going to be in Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. We're going to be talking about this commandment of honor thy mother and father. And we're going to look at this word, honoring your mother and father. And I kind of took a look at, I wanted us to kind of look at this this thing of honoring, acknowledging your mother and father, because like I had said, we have seen God give these informations to Moses, these laws, and this is the law that we are to honor our parents. And I wanted us to look at this word honor or honoring. And I'm gonna kind of I got some notes here for it. And we're gonna look at this word honoring or honor. And what is the meaning? Okay, honor. Its origin. It originated from the Acadian term, which means it means esteem, meaning to esteem, to respect or dignity. And it over time it entered into to old French. The old French was honor or honor. You'll see this word honor or honor. And the another way where they spell it in French would probably be HONUR. And then we see that there. And later in the middle and mid English, uh, it retains its meaning relating to reputation or morals or integrity. So you can look at it that way. If you even look it up in a plain dictionary, to be honored, it is to respect, to uh, give you the dignity and respect you in your ways. But in the biblical context, honor carries a deeper spiritual and more significant excuse me. Honor on the Bible often refers to showing respect, reverence. Now, I had said that before when we talked about when there's that phrase that you see in the Bible where it talks about fear God. The fear of God meant fear God, meaning not be afraid of Him, but give Him reverence, give Him respect. You don't want to disappoint Him. You don't want to um let him down. Like if your biological father, you don't want to make him feel that okay, I let my father down. I want to give my father the respect that he deserves. And that's what we want to do here. And that's what this word honor means. It's the reverence. And it also is obedience, especially towards God, parents, elders, and those in authority. So you want those, once again, I'm going to say, we get the obedience, and it's especially towards God, parents, elders, and people in authority. It involves recognizing someone's worth or position when you have an authority. That's just like a police officer, your teacher, the mayor, the president, those type of people that's in authority. Those are the ones you want to get and treat them accordingly. And you're gonna be able to see that in First Peter chapter 2 verse 17. We'll go to that in a few moments, and we're going to do a little cross reference there in some of the things. So as we look at this, God has asked us to honor our mothers and fathers, and to honor our mothers and fathers, so that our days may be long on the land that which we live. Now, at the time, he said on the land that they possess, or the land that they're on, and the land that they're in. So for the Israelites, they were down at Mount Sinai. They were going to go to the Holy Land. And they were going to go to the Holy Land, and he wanted them to be that when they were in the Holy Land, they would honor their parents. They would honor their elders. They would honor not the high priest, I meant the Pharisees and Sadducees. They would honor them as that, and their days would be long, meaning you would have a nice long life because you honor the person that gave you birth, and the person that also gave you life. Now we're going to look at if we can look at also in the New Testament, this also talks about it too in the New Testament. And we're going to look at Ephesians. If we can go, if you want to turn with me to Ephesians chapter 6. We're going to look at Ephesians chapter 6. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. Sometimes I wonder if my Bible really likes me, because it is it sometimes makes me want to, I got to find the pages. Ephesians chapter 6, and we're looking at verse 1 through 3. But I'm gonna go 1 through 3, chapter 1, verse 1 through 3. Children. So here's what Paul has says in Ephesians. He's talking to the church of Ephesians. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and your mother. And it's in parentheses, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may turn out well for you, and that you may live long on the earth. So this is what Paul is saying to the church in Ephesians, and most likely he's saying this to the young people, is that you honor your mother and father, so that everything turns out good for you. Meaning you live long on you live on this planet. You live long. You have a nice long life. Your life is not cut short because you disrespect your parents or anybody like that, or you have the respect. You have the reverence of your mother and father, the reverence of your grandparents, or anybody that will represent your mother and father, such as your teachers, who, when you go to them, they're adults, and you give them the respect, because they're adults. They're just like your mother and father, or other elderly person outside that you may come across. You give them the same respect that you would give your grandparents and your uncles or your aunts. You give them the respect, because your uncles or aunts are sometimes can be like your mother and father in respective ways. And what it also says here, Paul, he reiterates the importance of obeying and honoring your parents. He reminds us that this is the first commandment with a promise. What is the promise? The promise is that you live long. If you honor your mother and father, you live long. If you follow this commandment, that you may live long on the earth. Honoring our parents is not just showing respect, but it is about acknowledging the roles that they play. Mom, she's a nurturer. You fall, you scrape your knee. Mom is, and she pampers you, babies you, and such. Dad, he's a little bit more rough. He's like, yo, you clean, okay, wipe it off. Let's put a band-aid on. Okay, go. Go back. Let's go back out there and play. It's something like that. Towards some parents are like that. Some dads are like that. They like, it's not broke. Let's go. Come on. But we look at the roles they play. Dad teaches you how to fish. Dad teaches you how to ride a bike. Your dad may teach you how to ride a bike. He teaches you how to throw a baseball. He teaches you how to throw a football. He teaches you how to fish. Grandparents teach you how to fish. Um, your dad may even teach you how to drive a car, may teach you how to drive a stick shift. Mom teach you how to cook. Dad teach you how to cook. Teaches you various things in life. Mom is your nurturer. She does everything. Dad nurtures a little bit, so he nurtures a little bit in his own way, and they show you love in their own perspective ways. And this is something that you'll come across. And their love, parents' love, is unconditional. That's one thing we must understand. Our parents' love is unconditional, and they're there to guide us in our roles that they play. These roles that they play, they are the foundation of a family. They're the foundations of the family. They run the you know, dad leads. Dad is the leader. Mom is there to follow. Now, a lot of times, mom will step in front because of maybe the situation, and dad is more of the enforcer at certain times. Mom steps up in the front, you know, because mom and dad, they play a flip flop role at times as parents, because sometimes you may have mom is the stern one, dad's a little lenient, and then you may have it the reverse. Dad's the stern one, mom's a little lenient. So, or they both stern, and you have a trouble. But they play their roles, and their mom and dad are bouncing off of each other when they learn how to deal with their children, depending on the number of children they have. If they have one, they have two. If they have three, they have four. Just imagine some people have had 5, 6, or 7. Some have 10. You know, you hear guys, some of the actors say, "Well, I come from a family of 7, 3 girls and 4 boys." So dad was the one who enforced everything on the boys, but the girls he was gentle with. And that's the thing we look at with your mom and dad, the roles they play in this situation, in the nurturing that they do. And they guide us, and their love is unconditional. They have been they have been there, they have always been there for us uh, through the thickness and the thin. They have always been there for us through thick and thin. They never left us in that perspective. They never. Hmm, Let me see something here. They, uh, I'm looking at something right now. I'm saying, what happened here? They never left us. They've been there through thick and thin. They are following us through thick and thin. They keep making sure that we're on the right track, and we're not lost anywhere. Also, I want to just throw out something out there. Um, if you would like to request a prayer, I didn't mention that earlier, but if you would like to request a prayer, I'm going to stop right here and just give this real quick. If you would like to request a prayer, just shoot a text to our prayer line number, which is 833-943-3973 for our request prayer line. Because I see the little prompt comes up in between and lets me know it, and I needed to get that out there. But this is what our parents do for us. They've always been there for us, and they're always putting our needs. Our mothers and fathers always putting our needs first. So for me, growing up as a young man, my needs were always met by my mom, my dad, my grandmother, who I was raised by, was my grandmother. So she would always put her needs. She would always put her needs on the back burner, and my needs would be always in front. And when days got hectic, she would call to my mother or my father to get things first, get things released for this. She wanted me to, like, okay, we want to get things released. She wanted to get things released for me. And that's what she would do. She said, "Oh, well, I want to make sure that everything is good for you." I'd be like, "Okay, great, great. I appreciate that." Now, also within this, I want to say this. There is sometimes we see this thing of honoring our mother and father within our our songs, and there's a song out that I love to hear. One of my favorite, but it's also was one of my mother's favorite songs as well. It was one of her favorite songs. The song that I'm talking about is the song from let me see. I think her name is Pastor. I want to make sure I get her name correct. But the song is called No Charge by Shirley Caesar. I think it's Pastor Shirley Caesar. 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 No Charge. And in this song, there's a little boy who comes into the kitchen with his mother. You know, he's all bright and happy and everything. And he gives his mother this note. And on this note is a list of everything he's done. And he has a whole list of all the things: cutting the yard, babysitting, doing this, doing that, making his homework, getting good grades, all these. And he's got prices, you know, the cost of each thing he did and what it is, because he's looking for a little bit of I guess a little bit of spending change. So it's a way of getting a little bit of spending change. So mom steps back in mom's good old fashioned way, and she looks at reads the note and everything, and then she comes and begins to tell him all the things that she has done for him, and she has never charged him. She gives him all the information is what it is, and he's never charged him. So it was a lesson learned, no charge. The song is very beautifully captures uh, the selfishness, the love, and the sacrifice that a mother makes. There's another song out that I like listening to. Well, it's two of them I like listening to. That it's three. For me, it's three of them I like. We have the one by Luther Vandross, "Dance with My Father." That's a very beautiful one because that's when your father's gone, and you get the sense of he's gone, and you could have this one last moment. Most of it, I believe, is more like is geared towards a female when she dances with her father, but also with a boy when he's throwing a ball with his dad, and when he's learning how to drive. You can have that moment one more time with dad. Then there's another one that I like is a song by a country singer, George Strait, and the song is without love, amen. It's also a father song. It's about a man who thought at the time he's grown. Now he has his own child. You know, he was a young man. He had a fight, and he had to go tell his dad that he was in this fight, and he know fighting something that his dad forbid. I guess in that moment, it's like, yo, I forbid you to fight. I guess for certain reasons, but he had a fight. He went there. And he had to tell his dad. He told this. I guess he told the story of what had happened, and his dad lets him know that he has the father has a love that it's unconditional, without end. There's love without end, and it goes on that same way. And as he gets older, he has his own son, and his son, stubborn like he was, and he reminds him of him, and he had a dream that he had passed. He passed away, and he gets to the gates, and he's like thinking they would never let me in for all the things I have done. And he says, they would never let me in for all the things I've done. And he says, but God lets him in because it's God have a never ending love for his for his creation or his children. He has a love that he doesn't. There's no end to his love. His love is unconditional, and that's one of the songs that I heard. The other one is just a basic song about a man who grows up. He wakes up in the middle of the night. He's a young boy, and as a young boy he wakes up, he goes down the hall to his father because his world evolved around his dad, and he goes down the hall and he misses his dad. But now him and his dad, he's 18. You know, us young boys, we get feisty when we're 18. We kind of feel ourselves. We wanna test dad. And dad is like, no, you don't want to test me, son. But he tests him, and dad says, him and dad split, but now he comes back and he realizes he has to come back home. But dad gives him the money, and dad always is telling him, that's my job. This is my job. My job is always to make sure you're good. Even when you're older, I'm still going to always make sure you're good, you're better, you're good, you're well off. And that's what it is. And then he has to bury his dad. At the end, near the end, he has to bury his dad. But he winds up being a singer, so he's writing about these things. And that's what the basics of it is. And as we look at these various things, but I want to get to some of our. I thought I just had it here. I did have it here. Oh, here they are. I always have the cross references sitting here for me in this honor thy mother and father in our cross references. So in the honoring thy mother and father, I'm gonna go drag. So we did Ephesians 6. So I'm gonna take us back to the Old Testament. Again, we're gonna go to the Old Testament. And since we're in the Old Testament, wait, let's go upside down. Okay, we're going to go back to the Old Testament. And I want to really look at Deuteronomy 5. Look at that. I get right to the page. Deuteronomy 5. And we're going to look at verse 16. Deuteronomy 5, verse 16. Let me see something here. Come on. These pages don't never want. Okay, we want to look at verse 16. But I'm going to go back to, once again, I'm going to double back. Because in Deuteronomy, this is where God put in the commandments. Once again, he put in the commandments. And we see in Deuteronomy chapter 5, we see in verse 12, he takes again, I shall not take the Lord's name in vain. He's talking about swearing or anything like that, or making a promise based on the Lord's name. You don't want to do that. That's in verse 11. We see in verse 12, he's talking about the Sabbath, the seventh day. On the seventh day, this is the day of the Sabbath. This is the day the Lord has made holy. Okay, he's giving that law. 12, we see the 12 all the way to 14. Now, in 15, he say, and you shall remember that you were a slave. So now he's letting in this verse 15 for the Sabbath day. He's letting them remember this. What he's saying is, and you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and your Lord your God brought you out of there by the mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God commands you to celebrate the Sabbath day. And then we see in verse 16, he says here, honor your father, your mother. just as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that your day may be prolonged and that you may go well for you on the land which your Lord God is giving you. So that's what he is saying here. That's what Moses is telling the people. That's what Moses is saying to the people. I'm my throat every time. Also, we're going to let's look at Matthew. Let me take you to, let's jump to the New Testament. Matthew, let's look at Matthew. Where we at? Matthew 15. Matthew 15. Let's look at Matthew 15. Where's my place mark? Oh, no, I'm gonna need it. Matthew 15. So it's Matthew 15, verse 4. So, I'm in church, I tell you, when you get this, say amen. So in Matthew 15, verse 4, this is what we're looking at here. This is the Pharisees, and they're talking to Jesus. This is they're talking to Jesus in this very verse, and this verse answers all the questions about a lot of people have with the Mosaic law and being saved by grace, being under grace, or being that the Mosaic law has been put away, and a lot of people misunderstand what people are saying, because a lot of time it's the words we use that throw people, because if you're not used to understanding words, or you don't if you don't not comprehend, but the words you use can mislead people. So here's what we are seeing. So we're going to go from verse 1, and we're going to go down to verse 9. We're going to go all the way to verse 9. Okay, 15. Then some Pharisees and scribes came to Jesus from Jerusalem and said, why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? Okay, there's a tradition that they're breaking. Break the tradition of the elders, for they do not wash their hands when they eat bread. And he answered and said to them, now they had ate bread and they never washed their hands. So here's what Jesus says to them. Why do you yourself also break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? So in other words, they were looking at a tradition, and then Jesus is challenging them back, because they're challenging him with their not following their law. So they're not following the law. Here he's saying, you don't follow your law. See, here's what he says. Why do you yourself also break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? You break a law because you want to follow a tradition. And Jesus says he's going to finish, and this is all Jesus speaking. For God said, honor your father and mother, and the one who speaks evil of father or mother is to be put to death. But you say, whoever says to his father or mother, whatever I have that would help you has been given to God. So in other words, back then, their tradition was when you had unruly children, not just only one, but if they were very, very unruly, you had to take them to the elders, and they would get punished by the elder. And let me see what I know. There was a craziness in King James version. So let's look at the King. Let's match up the King James version with the Bible here. I got the New American Standard. What King James says here? What is King James saying here in Matthew? Okay, where Jesus says, why do ye also transgress the commandments of God by your tradition? For God commanded, saying, honor thy mother and honor thy father and mother, and ye that curses father or mother, let him die, the death. So let him die the death. So that means your life would be not that long. Your life wouldn't be that long. So that's what Jesus is saying, that your life would not be that long. I know they would say, oh, the punishment, you would go out there and they would stone the person. But ye say, whoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift, by whosoever thou mightest be prophet by me. So they are not following in there. Ah, hello, Miss Daisy, how you feeling? Welcome, Miss Daisy. They're not following. They're not following their own commandment. They're not following the law, as Jesus has said, because you're the children that sometime back then they would their tradition was very different than the tradition today. Children were unruly. They dealt with them very differently, very, very differently. Where am I? Okay, here's what in verse 6. He is not to honor his mother. He's not to honor his father or mother. And by this you have inviolated the word of God for the sake of your tradition. You hypocrites, rightly did Isaiah prophecy about you by saying, the people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far away from me, and in vain do they worship me, teaching as doctrine the commandment of men. So, in other words, we taught they they lip, like I love to say, they lip say, I honor you, mommy and daddy, or I honor you, you know, God, the lip sync of saying something. And then on the other hand, where their heart is not pure, their heart is not sincere about what they're saying as well. And their worship to him is in vain. They're doing it like, oh, I'm going to do it because it's something that I'm supposed to do. It's not something that I want to do, I need to do. But this is something I'm supposed to do. That's what they're saying here. They're saying I'm supposed to do this. And also they're teaching, we teach a doctrine. When we teach a doctrine to you, we're teaching you a doctrine. They're teaching most men are teaching a doctrine that you're following, and you're not following the law that is prescribed to you. This law was given to the Israelites. So as we read the Israelites, and when Jesus comes along, the Mosaic law is nailed to the cross because Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice. And the law was that, but also Jesus, when they challenged Jesus, and I believe this is where it is in chapter 19, verse 19. I think they came and they challenged Jesus to a law. 19 verses 19. Okay, I'm on in chapter 19, verse 19. Mm. And yes, here it is. This was more the rich ruler and young ruler that they were talking about. And we're gonna go back. I'm gonna give you 16. And someone came to him and said, Teacher, what good thing shall I do so that I may obtain eternal life? And he said to him, so this is Jesus explaining to the rich young ruler, why are you asking me about what is good? There is only one who is good. But if you want to want to enter life, keep the commandments. So he's telling him at this time, keep the commandments, because he is still here on Jesus is still on earth. He's not telling him, he's telling him, keep the commandments. So he tells him. And the young ruler says, then he says to him, which one? So he tells him which one. And Jesus says, thou shalt not commit murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, that you shall not steal, you shall not give false testimony, honor your father and your mother, and you shall and I'm sorry, and love your neighbor as yourself. So you heard these commands. These are the commandments that he gave him. And the young ruler, I'm going to go a little bit further with you. And the young man said to him, all these I have kept. So he's saying, I kept all you said. I kept everything you said. He says, I kept it. And I still lacking. He says, I'm still lacking. I kept the commandments. Now you notice Jesus didn't say, love the God with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And you also notice he didn't say keep the he also didn't say keep the Sabbath, but he said he named the commandments that he needed to keep. Apparently the young man thinks he must, if Jesus named these, he probably may not have kept all of them, but he feels he did. Jesus says to him, if you want to be complete, go and sell all possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven, and come follow me. And here's what happens when Jesus says this. But when the young man heard this statement, he went away grieving, for he was one who owned much property. So in other words, he all that he did, he felt, okay, I done all that, but I got a lot of stuff that's worth a lot of money, and I sell it. I'm going to be poor. You want me to give all my stuff to these poor people? So Jesus, he realized, he went away feeling bad about his stuff. Also, we can see, and let's look at another one. Let's look at Mark 7 and 10. Kind of jumping the gun here. Luke. So let's go to Mark 7, Mark chapter 7, Mark 7, and I think we'll stop there with the cross references, because there's more cross references in the commandments, the honor thy mother and father. 7. Where are you? 7. I got one more page to go. And we know in 5, 6, and 7 is Jesus's Sermon on the Mountain. That's the great Beatitude. That's the Beatitude. That's one of the greatest sermons Jesus gave. So we're looking at chapter 7, and we're looking at verse 10. And I'm going to start actually with verse 9. Well, this is where Jesus goes with verse 9. He was also saying to them, wait a minute, hold on. Let me double back. Let me double back. Okay, let's double back a little bit here. Let's double back a little bit. Let's move back a little bit. This is in verse 7. This is where they follow tradition. The Pharisees and Sadducees, most of the time they follow tradition and rituals, not so much getting into this spiritual things. Like when we go to church, you take communion. This communion is usually sometimes they do it all the time. It becomes a tradition. It becomes a ritual. You begin to see it. It's constantly done as a ritual. So he's saying here, this is more of a ritual to them that they're doing. So once again, they were washing their hands, as he told about. And the Pharisees, and we're going to see it. I'm going to go verse 5 before we go to verse 10. So I'm going to drop to verse 5, and we see here. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, why do your disciples not walk in accordance with the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with their unwashed hands? And he prophesies again what was written in Isaiah, with the information that he was written in Isaiah. And it's kind of reiterating what was said earlier in Matthew, what he said earlier in Matthew. And as he said in Matthew, they're neglecting the commandments of God for the sake of their tradition, and setting orders to keep a tradition. And here's what he says in 9. He was also saying to them, you are experts at setting aside the commandment of God in order to keep your tradition. So, in other words, what he's saying to the Pharisees is that you're going to put the commandments to the side just so you can keep this tradition. You're not going to keep the commandments and let your tradition slide. You want to, okay, we'll push the commandment over here so we can keep our tradition going. So that's what Jesus is saying. For Moses said, honor your mother. He says what he says. Moses, when he told the people the law, he says, Moses said, honor your mother and father, and he told him one who speaks able must be put to death. Just to be put is certainly to be put to death. But you say, if a person says to his father or his mother, whatever I have that would help you is carbon. Okay. And when he says this, that is given to God. This carbon is given to God. And you no longer allow him to do anything for his mother or his mother or his father, and thereby evading. So you're evading um, the word of God by your tradition, which you have handed down, and you do many things such as that. So, in other words, they did not follow the commandments themselves. The Pharisees and scribes and even the Sadducees did not follow the commandment or the laws. They followed more of tradition and rituals, and that which Jesus was putting in the place. He was putting more. He was sort of like we saying we was making a correction. He was correcting them in what they're doing and what they supposed to do. And this is what Jesus had put forth to them when he was with the honor thy mother and honor thy father, and your days may be long. So in this verse here, we see that. And as I'm going to go back over again, I was talking earlier about there are countless songs about a father speaks about a father's love, the guidance and the protection that they do. These songs remind us of the important role that fathers play in our lives and the impact they have on shaping us into the people we are today. So your father as a young man, his guidance, his protection and everything shapes you. Some of us, some people unfortunately don't have the fathers around, but they are, oh my God, they are shaped in that phrase of understanding that you're okay, we're good, you're good. So we get that. Now, what am I looking at? Oh, okay, so we understand that sometimes we don't have fathers, but if you have an uncle that plays the role of your father, gives you the figure, the father figure, that's good. If you have an aunt that gives you the father figure, that's good. These are the things that we look at, and these are things that we understand in our lives. And these people are your uncles and your aunts, your grandfather, your grandmother. They shape you. So that's why we need to honor them. You know, we honor them. We gotta respect them. We gotta hold them at a at a an esteem. Like even the authorities that walk, you know, police officers. We there are some, you know, you have sometimes police officers can act like a big brother to you. Some, you know, I remember living in the projects, we had cops that the police officers that knew us in the building, they used to have to chase us out of our building in 2410. And anybody that's on here knows that the housing cops were located in 2410. They had a little mini precinct there. And I used to live right over, not over top, but right adjacent to it, but on the second floor. I could look down and see the cops inside. So when it was winter time, we used to hang out. If it was real cold outside, we would come inside the building, go up to maybe the sixth floor, because my friend Desi lived on the sixth floor. Desi lived on the sixth floor. So we would hang on the sixth floor, all of us. We lived, you know, I lived in the building. Desi lived in the building. A good friend of mine passed away, Grady. Another good friend, Mark, who passed away. And a good friend of mine, Todd, who lived in 2406. We would be on the sixth floor laughing and joking and da 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 da. And all of a sudden, here comes one cop I can remember, two of them I can remember their names. They had like we had one was named Pete. Pete, I remember Pete, and another one his nickname. He had the nickname of Putt Putt. Putt Putt was a cop because he rode on those little scooters, and they would come. I remember one night they came up the stairs, up the front stairs. Then they came up the top stairs over top of us. And if you ran out where the stairs were and ran around to where the elevator was, they came around that way. So they had us trapped. They okay, guys, y'all gotta leave. And you know, they knew who we were, but they would come out and hey, you know, I remember when we was playing ball one time, they came in, can I get say, can I get a hit? And the officer was like, one officer said, "Hey, they playing a game." He said, "Can the officer, can I get a swing at the ball?" And we like, all right, bunk it. And they come up, you know, officer came up and I forgot who was pitching, and he pitched the ball, and the officer took a swing. He missed, and the other officer was laughing at him. He said, "Come on, man, let them play their game." He said, one more." He hit the ball and play, and that was it. They would throw the ball for us. So it was like, you know, they were. they were being more community persons, but we gave them much respect. And when they saw us in the building, they said, "Hey, look, we know you live here, so we never had to worry about arguing or fighting, arguing or anything like that with them." But that's just to show you that the respect they gave us for them knowing who we were, that we lived in the building. They just was doing their job because they did come down one day and told us personally, say, "Look, we know who y'all are. We know where y'all live. We know you live upstairs, you live there, you live over there, you live there. But it's the people that come in, they call us and they tell us to tell you to move." And we like, okay, that was it. And it was a good thing. And there's always respect for it. We had much respect for them in that realm. But once again, as our mothers and fathers, our grandfathers and our grandmothers, they shape us. My oldest grandson goes to he goes to college now. My other grandson, he goes to college. My other grandkids, they all call me, and I give them a little talking to at times, and sometimes they spend some time with me, or I spend some time with them. So as we now want to see, as we can reflect on some of these songs that we hear about our mothers and fathers, they bring back memories. Especially when I listen to the song "No Charge," that's my mom's song. Especially Shirley Caesar is one of my mother's favorite gospel singers. And so I think also um, Reverend Cleveland is also, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's also her favorite uh, gospel singer also. But this is what it is, and these songs and the scriptures let us remember to honor our mother and father, not just on special occasions, not just give mom her flowers and everything on Mother's Day, and dad his socks and ties on Father's Day. We are to do this every day. We are to honor them each and every day as they go forth. We are to honor them each and every day, not just on occasions, but on occasions. I mean, it's good. It's good. We have a day that one. It's like one. We honor them every day of our being, but there's that one special day that we go all out for mom and dad. But all the rest of the days, it's still we still give them we give them that reverence. But on that one special day, we're overboard with you, mom and dad. We're gonna pour it on to you, and that's what it's like. That's what you want. That's what you want it to be like. They remember. Matter of fact, yesterday I saw an interview with, I think it was Marlon Wayman, and he was saying how he would go, and if he was in California, he would fly back, pick up his mother. They go to go out. He would always take his mother out on a date. Wherever he was, he would fly back, take her out on a date. Then he said she would get a little antsy with him at times. But those are the things you want to remember. Um, Same thing with me. My mom, when I would come home as a young man, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, or come home at daybreak, and I'm walking down the street, me and my sister, and we're walking down the street laughing and giggling and joking, and she sticks her head out the window and she sees us coming down the block, and she says, "Look up at the street lights. I don't see them on, so they must know how to go off. I guess some people don't know how to come home." So that's the little cute things we have our mother say. My dad, his cute things were more philosophy for me. He was a philosopher in his way. My uncle, his pouring into me was more a political person, advocate. Um, you could say an activist was his pouring in. My other uncle, was historian. He knew a lot about history. But matter of fact, all three of them knew about history. They all, because all of them served in the service together, and they all knew a little bit of history. And, my grandmother was more of a we look at TV, and she would, if I was looking at certain type of movies, she would say, "See, that's the type of people you don't hang around with. That's the type of people you don't hang around with." She would show you, because I used to love to watch the like at that during that time, I used to love to watch the FBI, um, Elliot Ness, for those who grew up in the 70s. When you grew up in the 70s, you had the FBI, Elliot Ness, Dragnet, the original Dragnet. When I said original Dragnet with Jack Webb. Um, Also Kojak. So she would watch that with us. She'd be sitting there watching it with me, and she would say to the whatever the person was doing, see how that person turned on that person. So those were my learning moments with those people at that point in time. And this is how sometimes things like that shape you, and you remember various things. So we look at these things and these special occasions. So let us show them love, respect, and gratitude for all that they have done for us. Um, for for most people, most people have their mom and dad and both of their grandparents, and they're able to show that love. For those that don't have their grandparents or their mom and dad, you have the memories that you have of them. For me, I only have of my mother, my father, my two uncles, but not and my aunts, but not my grandfather. I never got the opportunity to meet my grandfather. I only heard stories about him. So I can only imagine him if I were him. But these are the things you want to do with your parents. This is how you honor them. You honor them with their love and their respect that they give for you, the sacrifices that they make, the things that they poured into you as your parents, and your grandparents and your uncles and your aunts. Whatever they poured into you, that's what makes you. My grandmother and my mother were people who would sit in TV, and I could see my mother going to church. I could see my grandmother listening to Billy Graham when he had it. Billy Graham Crusade was on. She would sit there and listen to it. I remember her getting the Reverend Ike, looking at Reverend Ike, listening to the radio, church music when it was on. Her singing hymns. She had a little hymns that she would sing. My mom singing hymns. My mom going to church, making me go to church. My grandmother giving me change to put into the collection plate and pennies to put into the poor box. And if you went to Catholic churches, you went to a Catholic church, you put change in the collection plate. Then somewhere over on the side, you had a poor box, what they call a poor box. And then over the poor box, you had candles. And you would walk over to the poor box, put your change in, and you light candles. So my grandmother would tell me, put this in the collection plate, put this in the poor box, and light a candle for your mother and the father. And I would light a candle for my mother, my father, my uncles, and my grandmother. So those were the candles I would light for them, and then I would leave. And that's when you go into a Catholic church. I don't know if it's still the same way today, but that's the way it was back then. So we are to do these things and we the shape, and they have shaped us, and we must recognize them for that and know that they have loved us all this. So let us take the time to listen to their stories. They have our parents and our grandparents. Our grandparents, especially, are historical libraries. They're walking libraries. So if you got a grandparent and you're under the age of, if you're under the age of 18 and back, you need to hold on to your grandparent and get some knowledge from them. Then go to your mom and dad. They're your resources for that information. But your grandparents are your true walking libraries. And listen to their stories. Listen to all their stories. Always seek their advice and treasure the moments the moments you have with them, and we should always treasure the moments we have with them. This is something that we need to do as people as we go forth. Okay, I'm going to get ready to close up here. In my conclusion, let us hear the commandments of God to honor our mother and father. Let us recognize the invaluable role, the invaluable role they play in our lives and the sacrifice they have made for us. Let us show them love, respect, and appreciation every day, not just that one day, every day. And let us remember that by honoring our parents, we honor God. By honoring our parents, we honor God. And so by that, we honor God. Now, with that being said, I'd like to say amen to that. Now, then quick announcement. Starting October 6th, we will be moving the line, God in Jesus Christ Ministry Wednesday night Bible study will now be Monday night's Bible study, because Wednesday night is right now it's a little hectic and I don't want to just switch it and then try to switch it back. So starting Monday night, October 6th, we will be moving to Monday night Bible study, and the time will be at 7:30 that evening. It will be at 7:30 that evening for our Bible study on Monday nights. That's the only change for God in Jesus Christ Ministry will be our Bible study. Somebody, I look like somebody else that came in. Give me a second here, people. Let me see something. Let me see if I can get this out of my way. I think I thought somebody else come in. But we will be moving our Bible study to Monday night. So Monday night, Monday night, 7:30 will be the Bible study for going forth, will be our Bible study for God in Jesus Christ Ministries. So it'll be Monday night Bible study, and then Saturday night will still be the same. Saturday 7:30, Monday night 7:30. The Sunday sermon stays on 8 o'clock. We'll be moving that. We'll be moving forward with. So for that Monday night, we will be in we'll still be in Exodus chapter 20, but we'll be moving. Well, I think we're gonna do two. We're gonna try to do two of the laws. We're gonna do 20, chapter 20, verse 13 and verse 14 together. We're going to do those two together. We'll try to do those two together. So you'll have, that'll be part 6 and we'll try to do part 6. We'll do part 6 and we'll talk on verse 14 as well, but we'll do 17, chapter 7 will be on the next night. We're always remember, I will always do cross reference with the Bible studies as well. And let me see if I'm trying to think of anything else that we haven't went over. Once again, if you go to our website, God in Jesus Christ Ministries churchly.com. If you look at there's an information there, you will see the list of other ministries that is under Apostle Apostle Ella J. Alexander. Under her, you'll see all the other ministries. You'll see the schedules of what days they're on. If you would like to follow them, please do. If you go to the my radio website, RBM Smooth Radio radiowebsite.co. You go on there and you go to events on the website. You will see. We should be able to get to see the other ministries. Also, I'm trying to get the other ministries to give me the information and pictures so I can put it up. In the month of November, we will be having a 3-night Thanksgiving event, meaning we will have guest speakers for those 3 nights. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all at 7:30 at that time. I'm also trying to see if I can get a person to come on and probably sing their song that I met, and I had the opportunity. They are gospel singing, and I had the opportunity to listen to their music, and I put their song on my radio station. So their song is on my radio station. Their song will be in our gospel music doing on Sundays. And and if I'll just say this, if you do gospel music or you do gospel music, you can send me you can send me the MP3 file. Send me the MP3 file, letting me know that you give me the authorization to put this on my radio station for you, and we can also put it on our podcast. And this way, we can play your music on a regular basis. You can hear your music, and you can promote you as much as we can to help you move your gospel music out there. Put your gospel music out there. And that's if you want. If you have any poems or you have a poem, you can send that to me. We'll send it. Also, if you send me a poem, I can have that poem transferred. And if you send me the poem, I will give it to Apostle Ella so she can so she can put it in the magazine. Victorious Living Faith Ministries has a magazine out. So we have ministries that put their poems and things in there. If you send your poem, I'll send the poem. As long as it's decent, I will submit it to to Apostle Ella so that she can, if she accepts it, she will put it into the magazine. That's my name. But if you send it, I can also put it on a podcast where you will be a guest speaker. If we a guest speaker, the poem, what we do is we take your poem, as I done before, we take your poem and in AI, we have it typed so it's written out, and the AI will read your poem out to the people so the people can hear your poem. And that's what we provide. That's how we help promote people who are moving their stuff, people who have good content and put it out for you. So we can do that for you as we go forth. So I'd like to thank you. I'm a little sorry that I was a little bit late. A little couple of things to do here. I'm not going to keep y'all any longer than I have to. But once again, just remember, Monday nights, 7:30, Bible study. That's the only change for God in Jesus Christ Ministries. And I want to say thank you. And may all your evening, God bless you for your evening and your time. And until then, may this me also, I'm sorry, just real quick. If I really would like for each and every person on here to be a subscriber. If you become a subscriber, I can send you information on what is transpiring between God and Jesus Christ and any other ministries there. Also, if the ministry has been a blessing to you, if you would like to send a donation, there's a donation button in your upper right hand corner. There's a subscribe button in your upper right hand corner. And if you subscribe, you will get all the information. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Donation, whatever you feel to give. Be free. If you don't, fine. It's still been a blessing having you come. But I would like for you to subscribe so we can send you information in this way. We can keep we know what our numbers are. We like to see, I like to see my numbers. I record the numbers of viewers I have and the numbers of what's on the radio station. Those things I keep because I like to know if am I getting things out, information out. And if it's been a blessing, a donation, if you would like, that's fine with me. But until then, may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for your night and your time. God bless you.